Happy Sunday. Run day today. I knew it was going to be hot. It's just been insanely hot lately, but I wanted to get out. I got out a little early-ish. I set my alarm and got up and got out here before the sun got too hot, but it didn't take long for it to get super duper hot. So I'm not worried about going too fast today, just worried about staying hydrated. Got lots of hydration on me. Staying hydrated and just staying moving, not necessarily fast. I've been out here almost 3 hours and I've only gone 13 and a half miles. So not a very fast pace, about an average pace for an ultra though. So I'm not too upset about that. Not really concerned about pace when it's this hot. It's not going to be this hot in the Quintuple Anvil, but it will be this hot in the Keys 100. I don't know if I mentioned that the last check-in I did. I signed up for a race called the Keys 100. It's 100 miles from Key West to Key Largo, right around the middle of May. So super duper hot. One of the hottest races in the country. And a lot of people do that race to train for another one called the Badwater 135, which is crazy. The Badwater is 135 miles through Death Valley in like June or July. It was pretty recent. Fortunate enough to race with the person that just beat her own record from last year, Ashley Paulson. She's an animal, but she just set, I think it was the female course record. But anyway, that's a super hot race. It gets well over 110, 120 degrees. And the Keys 100 is a race that is known for people doing that to train for Badwater. So that'll give you an idea of how hot that is. It's a lot of highway, a lot of sun, not much reprieve from the sun as far as shade or anything like that. So days like today, that's good training for that. And just getting out here and just training on some mental toughness. That's about all today is good for. I can't wait for it to cool down a little bit. Jeez. When it cools down, I can keep a slow pace and, come out here and run for 6 hours or so, run 30, 35 miles. It's not easy, but it's doable. But days like today, it's just trying to hold it together for 3 or 4 hours. And I'm almost done with that. I'm taking a little walk break now before I do the last 4 or 5 mile push home, back to a jogging pace. So that's what's happening today. Yesterday, I was gonna do a big long bike ride, but I had to do some other stuff. Like I said before, life happening. But next weekend, I should be able to get in a good long bike ride. I'd like to ride. Last time I did 100, I'd like to go 120, which is 4 laps on this 30-mile trail we have here. So that's the kind of goal I'm going for with bike training in these last couple months. I signed up for a 5K swim in 2.5 weeks. I think it's out. I think it's open water in the ocean. It's called the Hammerhead Ocean Marathon. It's not really a marathon. I signed up for the longest distance, and the longest distance they had was a 5K. So swimming is a little lacking, but I'm looking forward to that just to seeing how I feel. Getting used to being in the wetsuit for a long time. So yeah, that's how everything's going, swimming, biking, and running. It's going. It's tough in this heat, but if anything, the heat just makes you a little tougher. I'm using a different supplement now. When I started doing ultras, I was using Gatorade Endurance. It's like a specially formulated Gatorade. And that was okay, but I think that might have been one of the sources of my gastric distress. So I switched over to Hammer. They're Endurolites, but I forgot the name of it, but they made like a little extra formulation of their Endurolites. It's electrolytes and whatnot that I would get from the sports drink, but I'm just drinking water with it. So that seems to be a little easier on my stomach. And I started doing ultras using gels, but I switched over to another Hammer product called, I think, Perpetuum, and it's got more good stuff in it. It's got the calories, the different forms of sugar, but it's also got a little bit of protein, I think some fats in it, just some other good stuff that's gives me a little more well-balanced intake whenever I'm doing long distance. And they say it's made for events longer than like 3 or 4 hours, so they had people like me in mind when they made it. And it tastes pretty good. It's not as thick as a shake, but it's pretty good. And that seems to be working pretty good today. I haven't had any issues with cramping or hunger or any kind of distress. So that seems to be working pretty well. I'm looking forward to that on race day. That'll probably help out quite a bit. So it's helping me drink more water with less stuff in it, like the Gatorade. Just because that's got a lot of flavors, colors, a lot of artificial sweeteners, that sort of thing. So I really like switching over to Hammer because they have a good holistic approach to their supplements, and I can tell my body's reacting to it better. Other than that, I did get a new hydration pack. It's the same company, Orange Mud. Oh, I'm actually wearing a shirt. That made the hydration pack that I wore before with the two bottles that, pulled out like a samurai to drink. I still like that one, but I like this one because it's got 2 pouches up front for these little soft flasks. And this flask here is the one where I just mix up a batch of the Perpetuum, and I'll sip on that a little bit every hour. And then on the back, it's a 1 liter bladder. And I wasn't too fond of those at first because I would get some cheap stuff, some cheap packs from like Walmart or whatever. So I was a little hesitant to get this one, but after wearing it for some long runs, it's really comfortable. It sits up high on my back, so it doesn't cover a whole lot of my back. If you watched any of my videos where I talked about it before, my back is like a big heat radiator. So as much as I can leave my back open to the air, it helps me dissipate a lot of that heat. And a lot of those packs that use bladders cover up your back a lot. So for me, that was hard to regulate my body temperature with those. But this one seems to sit pretty high and it's comfortable. And I like it. and it helps me keep like my different sorts of hydration. It helps keep them separate, so I like this pack. I might even get an extra bladder. This has like an extra storage pouch behind the bladder pouch. So, excuse me. Lots of different compartments and handy places to store things. I think that's about it. Other than the heat, not having really any issues lately. I'm on day 7 of the hard 75, so I'm almost done. I'm practically there already. I'm so hydrated, I can't stand it. I'm drinking that gallon of water a day, and I'm sleeping like a baby between the hydration, no alcohol, and working really hard. I'm sleeping like a baby. And it seems to be helping today, even though it's hot and even though I'm sick of the heat. I'm not feeling any cramps. I'm not...
Lap 14, 18:01.
14 miles just now. I'm not feeling like the lightheadedness and the nausea that usually comes along with dehydration, even though I'm sweating like crazy. As soon as I started moving this morning, it was pretty warm, and as soon as I started moving, I've got all that water in me, and I've got all this water readily available in my skin and in my bloodstream. So as soon as my body said it's warm, cool me down, it was just like waterfall all over. Normally that would have me worried because that would take away all my fluids, but my theory is that those fluids that I lost right away were in places where they were supposed to be and ready to be delivered, instead of in the important places like my bloodstream and my gut, and my brain. The brain needs a lot of water. Your gut needs a lot of water. Blood needs a lot of water. So I'm not feeling bad by any means. It's just super hot, and I'm about ready to call it a day. And yeah, so the hard 75, it is starting to pay dividends already, and I have a feeling it's going to be paying off even more as my body regulates to it, because it's still only been a week. Your body regulates pretty quickly to things, but I like seeing how it affects it over time, not just right away. Who knows, maybe this first week it's just getting rid of a lot of toxins and flushing out a lot of things. Who knows? But the book that I've been reading, it's unrelated, but it's also about a good plant-based diet and hydration and all that good stuff. And I am learning a little more about different water delivery systems inside your body. So can't overstate how important water is for your body. Even if you don't do crazy athletics or run out in the heat like this, it's still important to drink lots and lots of water. Your body needs it. So there's your PSA for the day. And with that, I'm gonna take a couple big swigs and head home. It's about 5 miles till I get home. And I'll check in with you guys next week. Love you.